What's up, guys? Welcome back to Bar Exam. I'm your host, Allie Rayner, but I'm not alone. Never am when we're up in here. We have the Bar Exam crew here as well. Say hello to Mr. Marcus TV. What's up, Marcus?
Yo, what up? What up? What up? It's a hookah session tonight.
It is. I see. He vibing. And then we also have Mr. Eric G in the building. How you doing, Eric? Hey.
My sunglasses were just sitting right here, so I wanted to
I was
look
gonna say,
cool.
did you just put those on?
Yeah, I'm not even wearing them for the whole show. I just wanted to look cool for a minute. That's it.
Hey, but I feel like you need a scooter or like a bike. Like those are motorbike glasses.
Real. I probably do.
like, yeah, baby, I'm finna go out for a minute, hit the town.
Y'all are crazy. Okay, anywho. Okay, so now that everybody has been introduced, we also want to let you guys know that we have a special guest here today. We are going to be bringing him to the bar because we're going to be talking about his song, Pushin'. So we have Chicago rapper Cassius Tae with us. Welcome to the show, Cassius.
Man, how y'all feeling? I'm glad to be on, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all glad to be on too. It seems like y'all cracking jokes, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just happy to be here with y'all for real.
It's a regular day for us, man. That's it.
No, that's fire.
Right. Welcome. Thank you for being here as well.
Sure.
So, like I said, we are discussing your newest single called Pushin'.
Mm-hmm.
We got a chance to listen to it, and we just wanted to talk about like the lyrics. So on here, we always like to break it down, and especially when we have the artist here to understand your inspiration and just, tap into what you were getting into and what you're going to be doing with your next project.
Yeah.
So first things first, let's break down the lyrics. So it starts off with you saying, okay, I'm pushing, trying to be the next one out my city. So like we already said, oh, actually, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump right into the song. I forgot. We also wanted to mention your favorite Chicago rapper, right, Shane? My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so my fault. So before we get into the lyrics, let's start off with an easy one. Let's ask Cassius and the rest of the Bar Exam crew who their favorite Chicago rapper is.
Yeah, so my favorite Chicago rapper is easily Kanye for the reasons of the artist, you know what I'm saying, more than like some of his antics. But the reason why I love Kanye so much is because he's found a way to have this like fluidity through his career to decide to be this version and then another version, but then you still just be like, that's Kanye. So like he can make a conscious record and then make a stadium anthem and then make a fun record and then make, you know what I'm saying, like a record where he's talking about you know what I'm saying, talking about being so famous that when he's in the hospital checking in on like dying family members that people don't respect the fact that, you know what I'm saying, he's a human as well. And I think I always like appreciated that dynamic that he was able to bring to rap music, but then I would think like the front line of mainstream music as well. So he, for that reason, is my favorite Chicago artist.
What's your favorite Kanye album?
That's tough. So I have to say it's between Fantasy and Late Registration. The reason why I say the two is because Late Registration, I believe that was the first album that I owned that didn't have a parental advisory sticker on it. And then Fantasy because although I really love Graduation a lot and 808s, but the thing about Fantasy was it was a culmination of more than just music. You know what I'm saying? And I think that like that album's packaging became, I think, a blueprint for how like a lot of artists today have to roll out, whether it's a project, a single, your brand identity, your look, your personality. It has to be like, okay, it's more than just the music. Like, you know what I'm saying? Kanye took us through the journey of being in I guess banished from society for the Taylor Swift thing. And the best way that he could come back from that was win in all aspects. So he's strong at production, writing, art, and visuals and concerts, and he presented that at the highest level all at once.
Yeah. I agree. I mean,
Great
you can't
answer.
deny his versatility. So yeah,
Mhm.
I like that answer a lot.
And gave a signature style and color with the album. So it's always like we understand like this was that particular era. And that's one thing that, like when I was saying earlier, that I liked about Kanye is he's able to be a version, then go be another version. But we just look at it like those are all versions of Kanye. Like I think he's a great representation of like evolution. Or if even if he doesn't evolve, like in the sense of how we want him to, I could still respect that like he evolved into something, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, were you doing like a little Robert Kelly talking about yourself in the third person and putting Kanye where you want to be seen? 'Cause I feel like you was talking about yourself and how you want to. Because I listen to your music too,
Yeah,
and I also
yeah.
kind of, you said with the parental advisory, like that was because of your mom and buying the albums and things.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a? I don't, because if I use the word mimic, that's gonna sound like you trying to like follow in his footsteps, but like same trajectory of career you look for in yourself.
With the like with Kanye,
Correct.
uh parallels not the same. The parallel I would say is like the thing that Kanye was doing while making music, he was heavy into fashion. Me being heavy into design is something that is important to me. But I understood that like when I look at like the start of Kanye's career, production and writing raps were his primary focus. You know what I'm saying? He having Virgil on his side, Adansi on his side, allowed them to shine in that fashion lane. Probably like I would say post late registration, in between that time he started being in that fashion world. And I'm not saying I have to be like avant-garde level of fashion like Kanye, because I don't think necessarily Virgil when he was in his prime of Off-White was the most fashionable person, but he was the most functional in the sense of design. So if I could take like what Virgil's in the prime of Off-White how he was, and in the prime of Kanye with rapping, production, and songwriting, and put that together, I look at more of that as like a trajectory in one than like Kanye's trajectory.
Okay. Yeah, that makes like perfect sense. I can definitely see the parallels and like how you identify with both.
Yeah, and with them both, you know what I'm saying, being Chicago natives, I think it's like it's very much so in our like culture, because like when you go outside in Chicago, right, it's very, you know, like when you look at like if you've been in New York, if you look at TikToks in New York, it's very hard to see a video of New York as somebody not in a fit. You know what I'm saying? It's damn near like impossible. You know what I'm saying? In Chicago, it's damn near impossible to not see something artistic or something that inspires you. You go outside, you'll see so much street art, and then you'll have all these free museums, and then the architecture of like not even just the city of downtown, like the homes. Like how does a home like this fit into the landscape of like a city? It just seems like why would a mansion be in a huge city, and not just one mansion, but like, you know what I'm saying, like a whole area designated, you know what I'm saying? So I think like, and with Virgil being an architect as well, I think that like uh my environment, you know what I'm saying, is more of a testament to like the trajectory of where I see myself, you know what I'm saying? Because this was just placed in front of me every day.
Okay. That there's a lot to unpack there. You're very creative. Like, and
Mhm.
now I was gonna actually ask the guys about their favorite Chicago rapper, but you also touched on like your design side and like your creative side. So would you say that like is it because you're from Chicago that you feel as though like it kind of made you lean towards being a designer or looking at art in a different way?
I think that like being from Chicago gave me the confidence, but I think like what made me want to be a designer is, and being art and creativity in general, is the house that I, you know what I'm saying, grew up in as a kid. So my great grandmother, the house that she had with all of my family in it, everybody was like versed in something that was either artistic or an entrepreneur side or both. But the one thing that she made everybody learn how to do, it kind of stopped with my generation, was learn how to play the piano. You know what I'm saying? So it was always a piano in the house. my uncle, he went to the Institute of Chicago, which is like a major art school in the nation. So you got all his art in the house. My grandmother collects art. My grandmother, she owns several. My great grandmother owns several businesses of her own, along with my grandmother and my mother as well. And all my uncles are well versed in art and stuff. So, and my brother as well. So it's kind of like when my household was like, I don't want to say competitive in the sense of fighting for attention of competitive in the sense of art, but it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we didn't, I guess, clash in each other's lanes, but I was just the one that was interested in all versions of what everybody else is doing. I wanted to learn how to draw, paint, rap, uh, then I wanted to learn how to have my own business. So that kind of came from it. But being in Chicago, everybody being multifaceted, that made me be like, well, how do I be the best? You know what I'm saying? Amongst everybody else.
Got you. Okay, so it like runs in the family, but also
Mm-hmm.
it's a part of the culture. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got you. Okay, I feel that. All right, fellas. So Marcus or Eric, do you guys want to go next on your favorite pick? Maybe Eric.
For Chicago rappers?
Yeah.
Oh
Favorite
yeah,
Chicago.
yeah. Mine's easy. Common. Common is the first Chicago rapper that like I really, really was drawn to. And for me, that was because I was very, very young when I first started listening to Common. And I think a lot of that was because Common at the time, like when Like Water for Chocolate came out, this was like, if you got that clean version of that album, it really wasn't far off from the explicit version, if we're going to keep it real. Like, there wasn't too much far off of both listens because he was so clean cut in how he delivered his message. And then for me personally, the thing that made Common my favorite Chicago rapper was the album B. I think that is probably his best album. Also, a fully Kanye produced album. I think that's probably his best produced album ever. And I just think that a lot of the themes of who Common is and the type of rapper that he was fully brought to the table on B. And it's such a short album. It's only like 9 or 10 songs or something like that. So it's like for me, it's like one of those albums that came out in like an era when like long albums were still like very popular. That came out and that was a short album, and that is to me, a flawless listen all the way through. There's not one bad song on that project. So I just think that when it comes to like somebody putting together a concise body of work and really taking their time on it, Like Water for Chocolate is one of those for me because that's a classic, and that is probably the one that like I first fell in love with Common. But then B is to me like, if you really want to know who Common is and get a good quintessential listen of who he is, just listen to B. 9 songs, 30 to 45 minutes, and you're in and out, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. And he's still out here. He's still doing his thing, which is like rare for somebody to have such a long career and for them to be. I feel like he never had to do like a lot of gimmicky shit, you know. So I think that's a really dope pick. Kind of in the same vein, I'm gonna go next. My pick was Lupe Fiasco. I just love Lupe because he made Kick Push so I don't know. It was just so creative. It wasn't what people expected from somebody from Chicago, black dude, rapper, you know. And I felt like it started a trend of a lot of people, people in the black culture deciding like, all right, let me, go out here and be different and be more conscious and really think about it. And just like his lyricism, like I just feel like it's hard for people to touch him on that side. So that's got to be my pick. But Marcus, what's your pick?
So it's not an interesting pick, but it's more of I don't even want to say where. I'm gonna say Vaughn, and Vaughn is my favorite Chicago rapper because Vaughn was probably, in my eyes, the one of Chicago's best storytellers. Like the storytelling of his raps and the authenticity of. I don't feel like Vaughn was a rapper. I feel like he was a trapper and then he found rap as an outlet. It was kind of like the reverse. It was kind of like through Dirk, and it was always what he was going through is what I went through on this track. So, and like I always say, you can't make up some of them stories. So I'm gonna say Vaughn, because even though Dirk was clearly bigger than Vaughn, I think it was a yin and yang that was needed, because Dirk was authentic, but Vaughn was definitely needed to be like, oh yeah, this shit is for real. So I'm gonna say King Von for me in terms of just Chicago rap, because of the authenticity in his raps.
Hmm.
Got you. Got you. And I feel
And
like
I don't even know if Von
super.
is like well liked in Chicago, not just like the O in the South. Like I don't know. You got to tell me, is Von beloved in Chicago as a whole, or just he has a pocket?
I ain't gonna lie, I think like when you bring up a certain sector of Chicago artists, like because they're from the crib, majority of people will like these certain like that certain field of artists, but also understand like these niggas is street niggas more for they rappers. You feel me? So it's down there like they still got people they in tour with. You know what I'm saying? So it's then like you like how can I explain this? Like you could be out somewhere the whole time and then that record come on. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, ooh, you get to looking, niggas get to shuffling, because it's like some people dancing, but it's like then there's some people is like, I low key don't rock with bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even saying him specifically. I'm just saying like any artist in general, like who come from that. It could be like, it could be motherfuckers that's in tour with them in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically like, I don't know.
Shit can get real.
It could get very real. You know what I'm saying? So I think like, and I've definitely have been at certain parties where DJs have been asked to not play certain artists' records. Just as much as you see, I don't know if y'all notice, like it's a big thing that Chicago is letting Keith perform out here. You know what I'm saying? But he technically performing probably like 40 minutes away from the city. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically like even that area they fake got a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Bro had performed in like Indiana probably like 4 years ago or something like that. They like shut him down like within like the first like 2 or 3 songs. You know what I'm saying? In his set. So it's basically like it's that energy of how it influenced the world is different in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on where you at, who playing it, who in the spot. But it is gonna be people who, and even if you know what I'm saying, you ain't ops with these people. And I'm not even just speaking to like artists who have made it to a national platform out of Chicago. You could be Chicago famous. It could be people who families are affected by that certain artist clique in that spot too. You know what I'm saying? So it can get very political very quick. You know what I'm saying? It
So
can be more than just this is just some rap shit. This is like some street shit for real.
so is it more street shit on the Vaughn Dirt side, or with the Chief Keef, like, or just street niggas just in general with the
In
drill type of music?
in general. Like it don't matter if you from out south, over east, out west type shit. Like if you come from that, like everybody got a car and 2 feet, basically. You know what I'm saying? They got the same opportunity to go to same places as other people. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically like what I'm saying is if they just in that spot at that time and they low key fake hating because it's just like bro who I'm in tour with in his glow is then that like you may act up or you may be in a situation with somebody probably willing to. You feel me? So, and I'm not even saying it's like that 100% at all, but what I am saying is like it is a testament to the authenticity that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of these artists from a certain sector, and I think that's why Chicago has had such an influence in that way on the world. Because if you think about all cities and hoods, right? All of them have documentation through movies of this is how it is. So you know how LA street culture is through movies like Boys in the Hood, you know what I'm saying, Menace to Society, Friday, you know what I'm saying? And then you may have things in New York, you feel me? And then Atlanta, they music scene that everybody help each other. So it's like you get to hear enough of them speak about it. You got to see Big Meech and them in the club and all of this, you know what I'm saying? Chicago, because we don't have a media industry, you know what I'm saying? You don't get to see that movie of Chicago playing in front of the world. So what do? You get the music videos, you get, you know what I'm saying, the way that
The
niggas talk
YouTube
on image.
documentaries.
You say what?
The YouTube documentaries.
You get you that's literally how LA gang culture and other in New York street culture influenced everywhere else in the 90s. That's basically what Chicago has been doing the past like probably since like 2010. You know what I'm saying? So you see how that affects like New York drill. You see how like when people in videos doing slight things like trigger fingers, locks in front of the face. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got guns in the videos. It's not to say that people from Chicago before Chicago did it. It's just the way they hold it, the way they point it in the camera, the way they talk, the way people shake up, the way people got certain slang terms, even how it spills to, you know what I'm saying, the UK. Like that's where a lot of Chicago influence is, the way we dress. A lot of that shit is based on like street culture, survival, you know what I'm saying? But then also like just that era and that certain time from 2010, 2011, 2012, all that time, like as it was getting more hot outside, like and not in weather, but like in how it was, it that culture, it was very impressionable, you know what I'm saying? But it was also very much real life type shit. So like, I grew up seeing like army tanks in the city because they have to bring the National Guard out here. You know what I'm saying? So like when I be saying like it is really like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like right now it is. Like there are a lot of places you can go in Chicago and just be like, man, it's the most beautiful city in the world. You know what I'm saying? And you just won't even think of nothing like that. Like it's very much so possible because it is a top 3 market. But those small pockets that be in the sense of like Chicago's geographic landscape, those small pockets make a big impact on the world. You know what I'm saying?
Is drill embraced in Chicago music scene, or is it frowned upon, or is it just has its own lane?
I would say it's like I don't know, man. I would
Because I don't
think
consider you a drill rapper at all. Like, I mean, that's
nah.
not even your lane. But you're a musician in
Hmm.
Chicago
Hmm.
who clearly will hear Chicago drill music. So
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
if you were I mean, if you were asked, you would do a Dirt show, a Von show, a Chief Keef show. Even
Hmm.
though that's not your demographic, you would
Hmm.
still be. So as a musician, are you in I guess the term embracive of a drill scene? Like, oh yeah, I would go to that show, or it's like I'm just stay in my lane and I do what I do.
So I personally don't go to drill shows. It's not even really many that happen also because it's like a lot of times drill artists from artists that I've seen can't necessarily pop out to every studio and every show because basically you're just putting a billboard for niggas that you went tour with to be like, whoop, come meet me here. You know what I'm saying? So even like
Mm.
in Chicago, like a lot of like it's so crazy. It's no different than being like that's where them niggas hang out at. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got like a certain studio or you got a certain block, the same niggas that's low key cool with each other, that's clicked up with each other, you know what I'm saying? They record in them spaces. They very rarely like step out to other spaces because it's just basically like it's like one of them things like one phone call could turn into this. You know what I'm saying? And I think that with me being a Chicago artist and then also seeing the climate of Chicago artists to answer the question if drill is embraced, I would say, I think it depends. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I would say it's like a 60-40 split, maybe sometimes 70-30. But I think like more people are I don't think people are necessarily hating on drill artists from speaking their truth. That's never the issue. But I think sometimes the lifestyle that may come with it when they come to certain shows, like even me being on certain shows, and let's say I do a show and it's probably like 7 artists on the bill. and it's two or one that are drill artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in shows where the venue or the festival has a protocol for that, and I've been in shows where they don't. You know what I'm saying? I've been a part of Chicago photo shoots amongst other artists where it's like we're grouped, and then those artists are grouped separately because it's like they may need a place that they're in overly secured, or they can't let all these people come in. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like is it's not about music at that point. Basically, is what I'm trying to explain. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Music is just a facet of the lifestyle, but it didn't start in the studio. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the life I live doesn't start in the studio, but it doesn't primarily put it doesn't carelessly affect others. You know what I'm saying? Is what is basically like what I'm trying to say.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Eric, you got any other questions?
Nah, not for. Well, you know what? I will. I got one for right now. When did you first come up? And the reason I'm asking that is because I recognize your name from a few circles, from the design circles, from the early blog days, like when the blogs were really popping off. Like, I don't know if you've heard of like Fader, Ill Roots, like
Mm-hmm.
places like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we have probably talked in the past, and I
Mm-hmm.
probably have gotten you an Ill Roots post that I probably just don't remember. And if I
Yeah.
did, shout out to me. But
Yeah.
my main question is, like, when did you get your start, and what was it like coming up in the era that you first found yourself being very creative in?
So I kind of got my start like, so I was always rapping, right? But putting out music, it kind of happened like, I would say probably 5 or 6 years after Keith was out. So this was damn near like to the world when Herb started blowing up. You know what I'm saying? And so when I was first trying to release my first song, to I guess a bigger spectrum, the blog era in Chicago was still everything. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. You know what I'm saying? I was featured on Ill Roots. I've been on Fader and all of these things like
Lyrical Lemonades.
Lyrical Lemonade. I've been on there many a times. Lyrical, Fake Shore Drive, like all of these places, right? And the thing, I think the thing that was uh what I didn't understand early was that my community that I was servicing is really what kept my career afloat. But whenever you see a Chicago platform, or any platform aside from like lyrical, or that's like an avant-garde like music platform, whatever, like, to see Chicago artists without a shock value, or things like, or to be like the other spectrum of Chicago artists, because there's primarily two main spectrums. It's either you drill, or you kind of like neo soul conscious, you know what I'm saying, like a Mick Jenkins, you know what I'm saying. um Chance kind of was like that at first too, like on 10 Day, you know what I'm saying. Chance just elevated through each project, you know what I'm saying, but 10 Day was kind of the same thing, you feel me. And I think coming up during that time of me being interested in a form of rap music that I kind of call, I guess, like superstar rap music, like rap music that I guess necessarily isn't mainstream, but necessarily isn't backpack. It's just like, I could be talking about the same things that a backpack artist talks about, but I may choose a different beat, you know what I'm saying? Or I may be able to lyrically go toe to toe with them, but I don't want to necessarily do it over like a jazz instrumental. I may always want an 808. I may always want hi-hat. Even if I pick more, I guess, traditional instrumentals, I'm still trying to find my sound footprint in Chicago. So I would articulate that my coming up, my breaking out within Chicago was difficult on paper and the internet, but it became easier once I started going outside.
Would you say that you're sort of creating your own lane by doing that. And the reason I ask is because Detroit is very similar on the music
Yeah.
scene, where there's basically two sides to it. I
Mhm.
call it the Dilla side and the hell of a side. You know what I'm saying? The hell of a side
Yeah.
is Doughboys Cash Out, Peasy, Sada Baby, Payroll Giovanni, you know, all those people that you've
Mhm.
heard of, Babytron, people like
Mhm.
that. That's the
Yeah.
hell of a side. It's just all street rap, you know what I'm saying? Basically,
Mhm.
what they're sort of starting to call Detroit drill. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because it's similar themes. You know, they smoking on op packs and doing all that.
Yeah.
The other side is the more conscious side. You know what I mean? Your Elzeyes, your Guilty Simpsons, your Slum Villages. You know what I'm saying? People like that,
Oh.
who rap over more traditional hip hop beats. You know, Dilla, like I said, Jay Dilla was a big pioneer of that side of it.
Mhm.
So do you think by Chicago being similar from what the way you described that you're sort of creating your own lane
I
by
think
not following either strict path?
so. Okay, that's a great question. Just because I want to say yes, but I do find that, and I'm not saying every record, but I do find that a aura, a presence, a record, or something somehow finds its comparison to someone uh that has made it. You know what I'm saying? That's either not from Chicago or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I think that like they may be aligned with the things that I want to speak about in music as an artist. You know what I'm saying? But I think that like I think what I need to probably do better at once this album comes out is showcase the lane of Cassius Tae in separation from those mainstream acts. Like for me, it's like I don't know. It's probably not even about Chicago for me right now. Just primarily because I think that my impact is felt through showing face, being outside, and I think like being in the world. You know what I'm saying? To represent Chicago, I think that it is kind of easier to not have that distinct sound, but I do understand how maybe somebody listening may expect one of those two things, like how you're mentioning, even if it's a blend of both sonically. You know what I'm saying? Like subject matter wise, I'm able to talk about things that I've seen on the block or things that I maybe have done on my block as well, but then also be able to talk about like how I just want to better myself in life, and it has nothing to do with being outside. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think like that parallel allows me, I guess, to be more human anywhere than just being like this is a geographical artist.
So I do got one follow up to that because I'm from St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So what we find here is St. Louis is a top 3 test market, right? Not a top
Yeah.
3 kind of. If it works in St. Louis, it's going to work anywhere. So we always find things. We're always getting music kind of quicker and first, and then to see how that national campaign goes amongst others in different cities, because we're just such a hard market. It's such a finicky market to navigate. Whereas a lot of artists do this route. We call it the St. Louis boomerang. They'll
Mm-hmm.
be from St. Louis. You won't know they're from St. Louis. You will think they're from wherever their kind of producer is from, or that where they kind of stuck. And then they come back to St. Louis, and we like the whole city's like, who is this? Where is it? Because they already reached a certain level, and
Yeah.
then it's like, I don't want to say it's not shoved down your throats, but they're like, who is this dude? And he went to St. Louis, and he's from St. And it's all of these questions, and then they
Mm-hmm.
like find themselves, oh shit, yeah, dude is, and then it's kind of more of like a reverse almost. So do you feel like Chicago, in that sense, is the same way?
We have that, right? So we have that, but you can be known because Chicago is so big but small at the same time. You could be known in a certain sector of Chicago, but there's another sector that necessarily, like the streets, for example, they may not necessarily know you because I won't be where the streets are because they don't go where I go. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, me going outside to certain events where they couldn't get in or not know of it or wouldn't see me, they could easily be like, who is bro? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm somebody that doesn't hang out in the spots where they made like a certain club, you know what I'm saying, or things of that nature. Or maybe I may not make the record that's in the club, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I may make the record that's more like ground level to people like in a certain community or a certain pocket or whatever the case may be. And then I'll have like, you know, maybe these 500,000, 2,000 people be able to pick me up and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I know a bro who out the band. Woo, I don't know how y'all don't, but this how it's going. You know what I'm saying? I think like uh sometimes like relationships is more important than I guess your viewership, because that relationship can make it seem like you was always here. So let's say like I pop in Chicago, but then I also pop across the world, right? But then like let's say the hood doesn't know me, but I know niggas in Chicago at radio. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas can make it seem like bro just literally popped off from Chicago a few weeks ago. But it's like damn near I'm already on a tour in the world. And to the niggas in the streets, it's like I could be like a new artist to them. You know what I'm saying? From the city. And then they could do the research and be like, nah, actually, bro, you feel me, doing his 1-2 type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just not, it's just when you become a mega star so fast, that's when it's like, now I don't know who the fuck that is. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
what it's like. Nah, that's crazy. You feel me? So that's, I think that's like the best way I can like explain it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right, fellas. I think it's part of the show where we got to get into the bars. So since we have you here, Cassius, I'm gonna let you do the honors and go over the lyrics with us. Shane's gonna throw them up on the screen, but you can start. Start off wherever you'd like. But we just want to know, like, your inspiration. What made you want to create this song. So yeah, so go right ahead.
I think so. I'll tell you about the song in general. So Pushing is a song that's like placed into my album. And I think like me being a very heavy movie watcher, I think of albums in the sense that same way I look at books, movies, or any form of like way that you read something or take in something. It has to be like rise in action, climax, fall in action, all of these different things, right? And at this point in my album, is when I think about the listener's audio experience, you know what I'm saying? And I think about, okay, like we went bar heavy, we went female record heavy, but more aside from the style of record, subject matter wise in the story, you know what I'm saying? We're at that turning point of why am I in this place in this album, as well as a reflection of my life, and as the listener, your life as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, with the song, I was trying to explain in the simplest way possible how I'm ready to be in another evolved state in my life. You know what I'm saying? As well as I was explaining within this album when it releases, which is called Moments in Desire. And the song came about because the way the song came about is whenever I make a song, I'm not necessarily fully projecting the words, you know what I'm saying, as I'm freestyling it at the mic. And so my engineer, he was like, it would be cool if you recorded a verse in that tone, you know what I'm saying? Because that's those mumbles, that's literally how I make songs. So it was damn near like the song that you hear was basically like, I probably punched like 3 times, didn't do any other take, but it was just like, it was literally like a series of 3 freestyles put into one, and it was just like, let's move this around, let's move this around, let's move this around, and let's just keep recycling the hook. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's like the premise of it, like pushing for something more, but also its purpose within the album contextually is very key as well.
Okay, got you. Okay, and so who do you? So you said you're talking to like the listener, or is there like maybe like you were also saying something about like they like Big Bro, Don't Forget Me. So like, are you talking about like friends, family?
Mhm. Friends, family, and sometimes like friends, family is the main like I would say the main thing that I'm trying to explain, but also sometimes like yourself, like if I think about like the turning point within this album, which if I take out the context in the album in relation to your life, which is why I was talking about, like, you know, speaking to the listener, it's sometimes like when you're about to make a change in your life, you damn near are sometimes hard at letting go of that past version of yourself. So it's damn near like speaking to myself as well, like, damn, bro, like, don't forget me, because in the sense of like, don't go so far that you don't acknowledge where you came from. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that in relation to my life, when we get into the verses, at that time when I was freestyling the song, I felt like a lot of things that I was putting out into the universe creatively or just being as a person, I found a lot of things being, I guess, copied, but then taking credit for copied. You know what I'm saying? So, and while that's happening, I have a lot of people telling me, um, like, don't forgive me when you get to the top, but also, why haven't you gotten to the top yet? Why haven't you gotten to the top doing something that somebody else is doing, which you normally do, made it through doing that? I don't know if that was confusing, but basically, you know, that's when I was like, keep all of those messages, asking when you gonna make it. Bitch, I'm already ahead of them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's down there like, I just see them copy every post, caption in a post. Then the reason why I switched the flow, niggas getting off on dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, and I think like just the, whether it's like a flow of music, a flow of life, or a flow of anything, it's just like, nigga, I'm the blueprint type shit. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to worry about me being in a certain area. If they got there, that's just basically like social proof for me that either whatever I gave to them, they may have had like a certain power that worked for them at that time in that moment. But ultimately, I can always create something else new, which is why I'm ahead of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to have to come back for something regardless.
I love that. I love the confidence, but also I love that message because a lot of times people get, nowadays anyway, it seems like people get so offended when other people copy something that they've done. And honestly, to me, I feel like that's how you know that your art is working, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I feel
I got a
that.
question too. So something that you said sparked this question, where you were basically talking about how, um, you know, you might be changing and striving for better, but it's hard to let go of some of the things from your past. So
Mm-hmm.
is that what you were addressing when you said, Lord then gave me life, so I make the best with what he give us, chasing daily bread, I'm looking godly, but I'm sinning.
Yeah. I think also too, at that time when I was recording that song, I started every day with the Lord's Prayer, you know what I'm saying, during that writing camp. So it would, the Lord's Prayer was just like fresh on my brain at that time. So to take like certain aspects of the prayer and put it into the song was more so the driving message as far as the inspiration, but in the totality of the message of the inspiration of that line, but in the totality of the message of that song, that is very true and on point, as well as damn, there was another line that I had in there where it was something about like turn my pain to passion, it's a business, you know what I'm saying? And within the time of my life, and then
Lost
also,
so much, ain't no forgiveness. Turn my pain to passion. It's a business.
you know what I'm saying? Cause like me being able to express these rise and falls in my life, you know what I'm saying, has ironically allowed me to have certain fortunes, you know what I'm saying, through being that vulnerable, through being that open, that honest. And within the placement of the album, that song is following up a song that is speaking about, like, you know what I'm saying, a heartbreak, and how basically like it inspired me to basically do a numerous amount of things within life, you know what I'm saying? So it's follow up and its messaging, it has a connection that is very much so, like, as the listener you can see yourself going through it, you know what I'm saying? And it's I try to make the lyrics very much so left to interpretation, but also for somebody to place themselves within the storyline. But then also, if you didn't want to listen to what I'm saying and you just want to just vibe to that shit, like, you could do that as well.
Got you. Okay, I feel that. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions I have. Fellas, do you got any other questions for this song? Because Eric stole mine. I like that line, the passion to passion. I'm sorry, my pain to passion. Like I love that because that's real. I feel like a lot of times people see rappers, musicians, celebrities, and they think that it, like we said earlier, they think it's overnight, but they don't realize how much passion and drive and ups and downs. So I love that you incorporate that in there. And like you said, it's vibey. Like when I first heard it, I was like, oh, this is dope. And then I saw the visual online. So I was like, okay, I can understand like what you mean by like you could just listen it or you just vibe out and not worry or think too deep into it if you didn't want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I feel that.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think too, the biggest thing, the biggest reason why I made that song was because I was at a space where people was telling me what I should be doing or what I can only do as an artist. So it's like, bro, you make lyrical type songs. Like I don't see you being able to make a song that's like where the hook is more known than anything. So the song was basically, and I have another song that was like made in that time frame too, which is also be on my album. It was more so like a fuck you to like 5 people I had in mind type shit. Like, no, I'm gonna actually do this shit, and I'm gonna confidently not feel like I have to have this pressure of every line has to be like a bar that the smartest nigga couldn't think of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna just go off of feeling type shit. And I just say I didn't feel those records, but this one primarily, that was the goal.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Any projects that we should be looking out for?
So
yeah, what's the name of the album that's coming up?
So the name of my album is Moments in Desire. I actually have on like a prototype of like one of the merch pieces right now. It won't be in this colorway, but I'll just be wearing it because I still like it. But yeah, Moments in Desire. And Moments in Desire is basically like an album about a time where I desired to be somewhere other than where I was, just to realize that the best place to desire to be is in the present.
I feel that. I love that. Okay, and when is that dropping?
I need a hoodie.
Right?
I will, bro. It'll be dropping in September. And I also have like a whole merchandise collection. I've been making merch like the past few years within my artistry, but this will be the first time that I have a full line, and I'm very like excited to present, you know what I'm saying, that merchandise line. So
are you gonna roll it out with the album, like kind of like just like in like 2 pieces, like toe and toe together?
So this is what I'm honestly thinking, right? And y'all can let me know how y'all feel too. So what I'm honestly thinking is, because the album touches on 4 different sides of desire. So in my mind, I was thinking to have 4 events centered around those different sides. You know what I'm saying? And for me, one of the first events I was thinking is to have, I never really liked the word pop-up shop. I always thought it was like, I don't want to say corny, but overused. So I was like, damn, it'd be dope to have a showroom for people to experience the meaning of Moments in Desire before we get into the album. So I was thinking about, because it's a merchandise line and me having a design company called Moments in Desire as well, and looking to have Moments in Desire be a standalone clothing brand, I was like, I can have a showroom where people basically come out, you know, saying, be able to have the merch, test the merch, and then with me being in modeling and art, integrate that community where, you know, saying, you buy the merch, I'm gonna have a photographer on hand. Ooh, you can have a photo shoot with it that same day, and also use those people who are a part of that branding be basically like product models, as well as the product modeling that I already have. But that would just be like one of the few events. I kind of explained it in a condensed way, but yeah, I was thinking about releasing it prior.
That's cool. So I you know, you familiar with the movie Armageddon? You know, Bruce
I haven't
Willis.
seen it in a minute, but I am
But
familiar with
you
it.
know, there was a scene where Bruce Willis was like, you know, now y'all from NASA, y'all just be thinking shit up. Y'all just supposed to be thinking shit up. Whole bunch of people in the back room thinking shit up. So I'm nicknamed NASA because marketing, business, and like creative consulting always comes like real simple to me. Like I just be thinking shit up. So what you just said with the showroom is an easy ass fucking concept for you to pull off, and I need my 10%. Because for this, just you know, for just send a check, you know, with. But why don't you have a fashion show and your music is the only featured running down the runway, and everything that you just incorporated is that, and then the same merchandise line that you see everybody walk through and walk in with is available for sale, and just have a fashion show. You don't need a show.
So let me tell you something, right? While that was an initial idea, the initial idea was to have a fashion show. However, I was like, I personally didn't have enough pieces in the collection for a fashion show because the collection is probably like at most 6 pieces, and technically 3 because one is another colorway than the other. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, like I've been to fashion shows, I've modeled in fashion shows. I don't see a 6-piece fashion show working and the amount of time frame that I would also like to present this before the album as well. So I'm gonna give you another idea that I had. An idea that I had was to, because the I will have several collections of merchandise, and they will come out in, you know, like people have like volume 1, volume 2, collection 1, collection this. Mine would be like, because I am a musician still at heart, it would be released in sides, like side A, side B, side C, walk the bam, and basically have an archive pieces fashion show. Like once all of these pieces are out, you know what I'm saying? People be able to model these archive pieces as well as a new line at that same time. And then that way it can all be either bought at that time. I don't know how I'm gonna do it because that'll be a lot of merch to have its overhead, but that was
Nah, bro, you just go find. You got 6 pieces. You go find 6 people, and then you just do it like you just said. You go do the pop up with them, and then you just record it, and then you make it for social. So like the 6, if you only got 6 pieces, you only need 12 models. So they each they each run it through twice, and then you just pop it up with them, and then the end game of that is promo run on social. So then now they're like, oh damn, well, where's Cassius gonna be next? I want to be one of the 12. Then you can go hit all sides of the city doing that. You only need 12, like 30, the 20 or 30 minutes, because you're saying like a full 2-hour production show, people did you don't need all that. You can have a smaller, intimate crowd and then run it as content. And now that content fuels the merchandise sales, fuels the online things, and you still got the 6 pieces, and it's still the same thing. And then now the people who are featured are always like, oh, well, damn, his music is always playing during this same amount of content. So you can do it just on a smaller scale. It's just more like almost guerrilla marketing type. Because
you know what I just thought of? You know what I just thought of when you said all that was Picasso Baby by Jay-Z.
Yeah. So the space is gonna be in something kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is fire. And I was thinking, like when he was mentioning,
I remember that was a great rollout. I forgot about that rollout.
Just have big and tall sizes, nigga. 3X. 3X. Yeah, don't stop at 2X like most merch do.
Let me tell you something. It's really not our fault. It's really the manufacturer's fault. They don't
want to hear that shit.
Not too many. They be wanting like a
they want the $4 extra
rate.
For that. They want $3 more for a 3X, $4 more for a 4X. Pay the extra money, charge like the $30 hoodie is $35 for a bigger size. Nigga, nigga, get a bigger size.
See, I not to get too deep into it. That's very much so right. That is very true. But me, I garment dye my products as well to give that vintage look because I'm in the vintage fashion. So that's another ticket. It's like, first of all, we don't even make that. So let's cut and sew a 3X, then dye it, then garment dye it. Then we gotta wash it so the garment doesn't bleed. You know
so basically, I gotta pay $50 for this $30 hoodie.
Damn near, yes.
Okay, so
Well,
then
the hoodies is more than like
so
the blank is
charge me
more
the
than
50.
that, but yeah.
So charge me the 50 and have the sizes available. I don't want to hear this skill. Yeah,
I bet.
like
If it's a demand for it, we can
yeah,
always
like,
supply it. You know what I'm
and
saying?
then I eat.
Yeah. If it's
So
a demand for it, most times I just do for bigger sizes. I've always only done like special orders, but I never just had like them
I've
on
been that way
hand.
my whole life. Everything's a special order, nigga.
Yeah. All
I
right.
never shop off the rack. So there you
Yeah.
go.
That's cool then. That's cool. Yeah.
Now,
I got a special
now
order
when you
lined up
find
already. Fuck it.
right,
Yeah.
you go
Great.
find six. You go find 6 big and tall niggas. That's your big and tall line for
Yeah.
your whole little run. And then
Yeah.
now you got the whole merchandise and everything. And then I can click the little QR code and not get disappointed when it stops at 2x.
No, that's fire. I agree with you. That's tough. That's tough.
Just, hey, I'm just gonna give you the other. If I'm paying more for the bigger sizes, which I don't mind, I'm gonna just say that right now. You better not charge me shipping, nigga. Cause then that's the fee. Now I'm already paying more for the garment. Now I got to pay more to get it to me too.
Because the garment is heavy. You gotta think, one garment is like me shipping 4 shirts. Then my GSM, if you know what like GSM is, the weight of my garment is not the average weight of like majority of like it's like not gilding. It's like 5 tiers above gilding type shit.
It look like a nice hoodie. I'm gonna keep it real. The hoodie look nice.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do something that I've never done on this show. Tell me what the price is, and I'm gonna rock it. Just whatever the one-off is, and that's gonna be my contribution because I'm tired of you niggas only stopping at 2x with all of these bullshit excuses. So now you got $100, nigga.
To make it work.
I'm not gonna place that order.
100 to make it work.
Yeah, 100 to make it work.
I'm gonna find a manufacturer.
Yeah, there you go. Make it a one-off. Do it. Make it whatever you want to. If you even do it the triple black on black on black, that's my favorite color. So there you go. So that's my support for the type of artist and the vision and it's a one-off custom piece. So I'll know what it is.
I appreciate that a lot, bro. For real. I'll make that work.
That's dope. Yeah. All right, fellas. Do you guys have any other questions before we let Cassius go? I don't know what Marcus is saying.
Yeah, I was about to say Marcus about to say something first.
No, I'm having that's that ADD shit. I'm having 3 other conversations.
Oh, okay.
Like nigga, the phone is going. People walking in trying to hit the hookah.
It's busting over that type shit.
Yeah, it's definitely going down.
Yeah, that's fine.
I feel it. Well, thank you so much for being here, Cassius Tae. Is there anything else that you want to leave the fans with?
Honestly, I just want to say I appreciate y'all for again allowing me to speak, talk, ask questions about like the culture, the city, of like how Chicago moves, and also just I appreciate y'all for doing just taking the time to just listen, you know what I'm saying, and just being open to the things that I had to say musically, artistically, and verbally, and even feeling wise too. I'm just glad that y'all was able to receive whatever, you know what I'm saying, y'all got from it.
Yeah, for real. Thank you for being here. Like you definitely were an interesting conversation. Like I feel like because you do have so many different sides, like you're so multifaceted. It was actually like really dope being able to talk to you, and I look forward to the project dropping.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate that a lot. I'm gonna make sure I send it to all y'all for real.
So, definitely waiting to hear that.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all a lot.
Charge them niggas $100 too.
For the album.
Hey, don't you? Hey, ain't no discounts in this. Hey, everybody getting big and tall hoodies.
No, that's facts. Yeah, no, that's facts. I agree with you. I get asked about it enough.
I'll fuck around and do it. I don't care.
Yeah. I appreciate that a lot. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait till y'all see the full collection. You know what I'm saying? But you making me think about bringing this gray one back. The one I had was like more of a vintage gray. This one is This one is like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it wasn't the colorway I was wanting primarily. But
See, nigga,
I'm gonna
you
keep it
get.
real. I
So
like that
I'm gonna
gray.
tell you this: you too far in the weeds.
yeah,
Gray is gray, nigga. It
gray
is.
is gray. I feel it.
I don't tell me because I got the color code sheets: the hunter gray, the ash gray, the
Mm-hmm.
charcoal gray. Nigga, it's still gray.
It's
Don't
still gray.
like it's still gray. So
Yeah.
send me a gray hoodie, send me whatever. Like don't they didn't have the charcoal ash sparkle white. Nah,
As
man.
long as it's gray and it works.
Like if you got a vision for gray, pick a gray, pick a stitching, ship it out. We rocking.
I
Then
got you.
yeah. Don't get too far in the week. You talking yourself out of it.
No, I got you. 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 I'm gonna make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what that's so politically incorrect. But I'm gonna say it anyway. I need a Mexican, not a Mexicant.
A Mexican. I've heard the saying enough to say I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I can't. Okay, Marcus. Just leave it to Marcus to say something wild just as we're closing out. Appreciate you. But all right, guys. Well, I hope that everybody really enjoyed this interview with Cassius Tae. Be sure to check out his next project called Moments in Desire. And as you guys already know, this is Bar Exam. Check out the Patreon for even more candid and interesting conversations over there. And check us out on the Ethos Media Network YouTube page as well. And we will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.